Martinsville 7 were a group of young black men executed in 1951 after being convicted of raping a white woman. Their deaths remain the largest mass execution for rape reported in the United States. On the evening of January 8, 1949, Ruby Stroud Floyd accused 13 black men of raping her as she passed through an African-American neighborhood in Martinsville, Virginia. The young men's names are Francis DeSales Grayson, Frank Hairston Jr., Howard Hairston, James Luther Hairston, Joe Henry Hampton, Booker T. Milner, and John Claiborne Taylor. Aged between 18 and 20 years old, with no real criminal history and working mostly as laborers in factories, these black lives soon became known as the Martinsville 7. Floyd identified Grayson and Hampton as her rapists, but was unable to properly identify the others because the attack happened that night. After being questioned by local police officers, the defendants allegedly confessed to committing or witnessing the crime. By the spring of 1949, all 7 men were charged with rape. Judge Kenan C. Whittle of the Martinsville Circuit Court granted requests to hold individual trials, and while black people could serve on juries in Martinsville at that time, prosecutors still struck potential black jurors. Ultimately, all 72 jurors for the 6 trials were white. During the 11-day trials, juries heard testimonies from both sides, including medical evidence of Floyd's physical injuries and accounts from black witnesses whom Floyd appealed to for help after the assault. Defense lawyers argued that Floyd had consented to sexual intercourse by failing to forcibly resist the men and that the initial confessions were forced by the local sheriff. Despite, the juries convicted the Martinsville 7 and sentenced them all to death, devoting no more than 2 hours to their deliberations. NAACP officials focused national attention to the case, hoping to delay or overturn the death penalty judgment. NAACP lawyers argued on appeal that Virginia's legal code was hardly race neutral since whites convicted of rape seldom, if ever, received the death penalty. Virginia's court system repeatedly rejected the NAACP's arguments, and the U.S. Supreme Court rejected the case twice without review. By early 1951, legal strategies to save the Martinsville 7 were exhausted, and the NAACP, joined by the Civil Rights Congress, turned towards a public relations campaign aimed at commuting the men's death sentences. Despite the letter-writing campaigns, editorials, and local vigils, newly elected Virginia Governor John S. Battle refused clemency. 4 of the Martinsville 7 were electrocuted on February 2, 1951. The remaining 3 were electrocuted on February 5th. In an August 2021 meeting with descendants of several of the men in Richmond, Virginia, Governor Ralph S. Northam said the men did not deserve the death penalty and granted their pardons 70 years after death. Governor Northam noted that all 45 people executed in the electric chair for rape in Virginia from 1908 to 1951 were black. Quote, "The criminal justice system of the Commonwealth of Virginia failed them. They did not receive due process, and their punishments did not fit the crime." Their pardons came 5 months after Governor Northam signed a bill that abolished the death penalty in Virginia, making it the first Southern state to end capital punishment. And if you didn't know, now you know.